And the funding lapse impacts more than just furloughed workers here. It is also threatening a major safety net program. The big one right now in the bullseye is the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP benefits. Every month, roughly 42 million Americans are supported by them, but that assistance is on the verge of being shelved for the first time in program history. In Georgia alone, 1.5 million people will see SNAP benefits come to a halt. And that has food banks bracing. Feeding Georgia is ramping up a statewide food bank efforts to really stand in the gap. And joining us now from a food bank in Columbus is the organization's executive director, Julie Kuykendall. Please forgive me if I didn't get that all the way right there. Correct me on that. We thank you for being here today. So let's jump right into it. What will a pause in SNAP benefits mean in real terms for Georgia families that you all serve?
Thank you so much for having us on today. It is a very alarming situation for many of the families that we serve, as you might imagine. Just ahead of the government shutdown, lines were already long. Demand had already increased. We were already seeing much more demand for the food resources that our food banks across our statewide network provide. As the government shutdown took place, that pressure only increased with missed paychecks and furloughed employees. And you can imagine what that as a family working hard and struggling to put meals on the table when you're suddenly thrust into the situation of missing funds. How that feels to have to recover that. And showing up in a food bank line is sometimes an emergency situation that our families find themselves in. That has been going on now for the duration of the government shutdown. But once we learned that SNAP funds would be lost and that the SNAP program would not have funds as of this weekend, that has moved us into different territory. And so now we are facing much more increased pressure. And let me just some quick math just to put this in perspective. For every one meal that food banks can provide, SNAP provides at least 6 meals. So that is a gap that food banks simply cannot replace. So right now we are struggling and scrambling to get as much food as we can to those who need it. Our lines are longer, and that's what we're facing. It's hard to watch our families and neighbors come into the food bank lines looking for food that we know that they need to balance out meals for the week and to balance their budgets for the month, and for them to be facing the struggles that they're facing right now. So that is what it looks like on the ground.
And so when you talk about these numbers, who are the people behind the numbers? I have to imagine you guys have seen this demand surge, but how much are we talking, and has the face of the surge changed?
Correct. It's hard to watch. I want to just say that it has been really heartening this week to watch the community come out in full. Just here in the last couple of days, I know many of our food banks and food pantries have had a lot of sleepless nights in the past couple of weeks. And this week we have seen it really turn out to support us. They have heard that our neighbors, friends, and families are having to show up in food bank lines to get the food they need to put on the table and have enough meals to feed their families. And to see the community come out in full support, that is what we need. We are in that situation now where we are counting on that support. The folks we serve are counting on people to reach deep and help and support them during an emergency time. As far as what's behind this, it's the government shutdown. We need the government to reopen as quickly as possible. We need SNAP funds to be recovered and put into place. We are still very hopeful for a bipartisan solution to the government shutdown, and we wait for that and are here as a partner in supporting that. Right now, we have hungry folks to feed, and that is what we're focused on.
Really quick, we got about 30 seconds. What is the message that you wish lawmakers could hear, not as policy, but really as people?
Hunger is not a partisan issue. It's friends and families that we know. And if folks want to help, they can go to their nearest food pantry. They can go to feedinggeorgia.org and look up their nearest food pantry, get help themselves, or they can find ways to support us. And that is what we need right now, is that full community support. And we are so grateful for the opportunity to be on today, and so grateful for a community that always shows up when we need it.
All right, Julie, you guys are truly doing heart work that we know is also hard work. So we thank you for your dedication to the community and serving those in need. And along with Feeding Georgia, there are other sites that you can go to help those in need. You can find them here, findhelp.org, the United Way's 211 option, and Georgia Gives at gagives.org, which is already getting ready for December 2nd, Georgia Gives Day. For anyone who relies on SNAP, just text the word resources to 404-885-7600, and we'll send you a link directly to your phone for a list of available help.